I've been playing Shaman on Season of Discovery, and it's some of the most fun I've ever had playing WoW as a Shaman. Shaman was the first character I ever played back in vanilla. My friends in school were like, bro, you gotta play a Shaman, they're super powerful. And I remember I rolled a troll Shaman and I got it to like level 10, then I go to school the next day and I'm like, yo guys, I started on that Shaman you were telling me to level up, got him to level 10. And I kept talking about Duratar and they're like, wait, did you make an orc? And I was like, no. I made a troll. And like, nah, bro, you gotta make a Tauren. And so I re-rolled a Tauren the next day. And that was technically my first WoW character because I hit 60 on that. But I'm retouching the nostalgia. I remade the same Tauren Shaman I made years ago. And I'm having way more fun playing it. Like, they give you dual wield early. Like, you don't get dual wield until Burning Crusade, technically, right? But Season of Discovery, you can get a quest in Thunderbluff. I'm sure there's an Orgrimmar one. I played a Tauren, but you get dual wield early and it makes the game like 1,000 times more fun. Why didn't they start with this? Now there's runes, there's like dual wield mastery. I'm still working my way towards that one. You got to either farm a bunch of stuff or just buy it off the auction house. I think I have enough gold to buy it all today, but every time I look, the prices get a little bit cheaper and cheaper. I'm like, if I just hold out for a day or two, I'm going to spend way less on this dual wield spec. But the dual wield spec just gives you more hit chance. It's 5% hit chance with melee and spells though, which is crazy because I've been playing as elemental, but enhance. When I was leveling up, I put my talents in the enhanced tree, but like there's not that much. You can get like 5% extra mana, which isn't crazy. You can really only get 1 point into flurry, which is where you crit, you get extra attack speed on 3 swings. But if you put on the tanking rune for your pants, it takes your Earth Shock off the regular shock cooldown. You can only do it in melee range, but where are you when you're enhanced? You're in melee range. So I just put all of my points last night into elemental. I got reduced mana cost on shocks. I got the shock cooldown reduced, and then I picked up clear casting. And you can literally every 5 seconds go frost shock, earth shock. Frost shock, earth shock, which is insane in PvP. Like I can keep you slowed and interrupted on like a 5-second cooldown for the slow, a 5-second cooldown for the interrupt, and they do a ton of damage. Now, I actually don't use Lava Lash. I don't know. This might be a little bit controversial, but I've been using Water Shield instead. And while grinding, I like never run out of mana. My uptime is insane, especially in PvP. I feel like you just blow your load on your mana so quick on a Shaman. You cast Lightning Shield, you cast a Shock, you cast a Lava Lash, and you're like, great, I'm out of mana. So the sacrifice to give up Lava Lash to get Water Shield is wild, but I think the fix is I don't go Shamanistic Rage, and I put on, I think it's called the Way of Earth rune, which is so good for leveling. It's so good for PvP. Like you don't care about the extra threat, right? But taking your Earth Shock off cooldown and giving you, I think 30% extra HP when you have Rockbiter in your main hand is nuts for leveling in PvP. Like the 30% HP is that's nuts. I'm looking at it now. You take 10% reduced damage and 6% reduced chance to be crit. Like it's nuts. Shamanistic Rage, you can get some mana back with it. It's a 1-minute cooldown. It does have a 20% damage reduction. But the 10% flat reduction from the Way of Earth, I swear, it's way better. Your chance to get crit goes way down. You have more HP. You're not able to provide as much utility because Shamanistic Rage also gives mana to your party. But if you're playing solo, you're leveling. I don't know. I was having a good time with that. And once I switched to Water Shield, I didn't have to drink anymore. You take a few hits, you keep refreshing the Water Shield, and you're like, yeah, I have enough mana to heal and I have enough mana to shock again. It's wild too because when I was tanking, I went with Water Shield. Like a lot of the dungeons are so easy, but like it's hard to do big pulls with no mana. Like if you don't have Water Shield, you just run out of mana. Like the tanking ability you get, Molten Blast, is really cool, but it costs 18% of your base mana. It's so much. So I literally switched to Water Shield, and then you just get all your threat with shocking. Your Earth Shock is a taunt, but you can get it on a 5-second cooldown. You just Frost Shock one mob, Earth Shock the other, and then you just start white swinging with Rockbiter the other mob. You don't have the ability to hit 4, but bruh, if somebody pulls aggro on one mob in Wailing Caverns or SFK, or even the raid, I did the raid, nobody's dying. So I think if you're tanking, the Molten Blast is cool, but like it doesn't do enough for me. Especially if you're like raid tanking and you're just tanking the boss, there's like no benefit to it. I think your Flame Shock can reset it and it helps you build more threat, but like, bro, you can taunt every 5 seconds, every 6 if you don't have talents in it. I don't know. That's why I like this Season of Discovery. I feel like I don't have to play it any certain way. There's no meta way to play it. Actually, when I did the raid, I didn't roll on some spell power gear. And then I looked at the option that had agility on it. I was like, you know what? I think the spell power one would be better. If a lot of my damage is coming from just doing shocks back and forth, spell power might be the move. Also, one other thing about putting your points in elemental instead of enhancement is you can get magic reduction, frost, fire, and nature, the ones that the shaman does. You can get up to 10% damage reduction on that. You can get, I think, not the armor, but you can get 5% dodge. I think you can get 2% armor. I think you can end up with 1 point in it. Or you can get extra block. I think block is one of the first ones you get. But I'm wondering, because when I did BFD, there was a lot of stuff doing elemental damage. I'm wondering if that 10% elemental damage reduction ends up being better overall across all the bosses that you would tank in the raid. Because the 5-mans don't really matter. They're easy to do. You can do all those at level 22. You could do all those at level 19 in a solid group. But yeah, Shaman is so much fun right now. I'm having fun experimenting with the tanking. I'm having fun with the PvP as enhanced dual wielding. I feel like nobody can beat me 1v1 unless it's another Shaman. I haven't quite dueled a lot of classes, but any 1v1 encounter I've got in, I crush the other person. So maybe I haven't met somebody with as much gear or as much skill, but I need to get into some duels. I might try to do some dueling on my stream in the next day or so, just to see if anybody can beat me. I don't think I'm like super good. I just feel like Shaman's a little bit broken if you can do the double shock back to back every 5 seconds. Anyways, you've been playing a Shaman? Leave me some tips in the comment section. What am I missing out on? What do I need to unlock? What do I need to try out? Tune into my Twitch stream. I go live at 9 p.m. Eastern. I usually play games around 11 or so. So stop by and bring that Amazon Prime money. Amazon doesn't need it. Have a lit day, my dudes.